Yeah. Hello, folks. It's Bradley J, the Bradcaster, whatever you want to call it. And we're with Melissa Maxx. You may know her from the past as DJ Melissa, who is a longtime WBCN jock. You started out, I believe, as a producer for Charles Laquadara, and you clawed your way onto the air and onto the top, and you did a lot of fantastic stuff. You were at Woodstock 99. In a couple of minutes, talk about your time there and how you got to where you are now. And then we'll concentrate on what you're doing now.
Okay. Yeah, I started as Charles Laquadara's. Well, I started answering phones, and then that quickly segued into being the morning show producer. As I was doing that, I was doing DJing at an Irish radio station in Marshfield, Massachusetts, and I would air check with Oedipus. Eventually, that led to me getting on the air at BCN, and then eventually co-hosting the Deke and Melissa show at night. And then I stayed there for almost a decade. And then I moved to Los Angeles and I started working at KLOS, which is another legendary rock station. So I'm very fortunate that the majority of my career was spent at legendary rock stations. Left there. When did my resume get so long? I left there about 3 years ago. And then I worked here at an alternative rock station called The Shark in Miami. And then COVID happened. And like many of my fellow ex-DJs, I don't have to put shoes on a lot. I'll just say that, or a bra.
I think that my most powerful memories of you come from a powerful event, Woodstock 99. We had an insane experience. That you stayed, I know you stayed all the way because you rode home with me.
Yes, in the really unsafe van with no seatbelts. We were like, it was very Woodstocky though. It was like original Woodstock. I think we were rolling around in the back of the van with our clothes on.
No seats.
Mattresses. There were no seats.
Right.
We actually got to stay in like army barracks or something, and there were huge spiders inside. So I can't. All the people were camping. I can't even imagine what they.
Well, you may remember there was terrible mold in these old Air Force barracks, and I was definitely severely affected by it. I could not stop sneezing. It was horrible. And you, of course, were there to view the riots.
Well, we weren't really frontliners. We sort of were backstage watching the riots on television.
We were
the closed circuit thing.
Well, we were behind a fence, and then there was a line of police, and then there were the riots.
We were all right. We not only were we.
I wasn't in a tray. I wasn't locked up inside of some trailer. It was pretty intense. All the TV people put all their equipment in a big old truck and slam the door and hid out in there.
Guys, shouldn't you be filming this right now? Guys, hello.
And it was a great opportunity to interview people. Probably interviewed more people that day, those 3 days, than in any other 3-day period. Who do you remember interviewing?
You know, it's so hazy. And also the thing is, like, Woodstock 99 is so far away, so in the past now, that it's like almost like the original Woodstock to like younger generations. I totally don't remember. One thing I do remember is like day 3 or day 93. It was very long. We were hot, we were tired, we were hungry, we were using porta potties, and we're sitting in I call it backstage, but it was in the production area, and you can watch the stage on a monitor, and we're all watching it, and it was like, wow, look at the sunset. And we're all watching the sunset on this little monitor. Like, wow, that's so beautiful. And I was like,
and the sun's right behind you.
I was like, guys, you can actually see the sunset for real.
Yeah. Another good thing was we had these really great passes, which allowed us into the food tent, which had unlimited food, 24 hours a day. Not good for you, but bacon and eggs and bad stuff. Whatever, cookies.
We needed our sustenance.
Right.
Yeah, it was good times.
So the reason we have you here today is you have an all new thing. It's the face of it is a book you've put out, but can you talk about the book and talk about what you do now?
Sure. I started sort of burning out of the whole radio thing a couple of years ago, and sort of trying to find a new direction. And I didn't quite have the balls to leave. So COVID kind of is, sometimes I say the universe speaks to you, and then it gets louder and louder, and then it forces you to listen. So COVID kind of pushed me out the door and enabled me to do this mindfulness coaching thing. I am just about to finish my coaching certification this week. And basically, mindfulness is a way to approach your life being aware of what is and accepting it. So you're aware of your current situation and you accept it, good, bad, or indifferent. It is what it is basically the tagline for mindfulness. I wrote a book, which I just so happen to have here. Isn't that crazy?
Which I bought.
Did you?
Of course.
Did you read it?
Of course.
Well, it's short. I mean, it's short, but mindfulness for people who suck at being mindful, which is available on Amazon. I write a weekly mindful living column for all access.
See, that's good. That's cool.
It's good. And you know what? I'm passionate about it. And everything I learn, not only can I help other people, I help myself also. So it's a win-win situation.
It's interesting not being on the radio, huh? But it takes some getting used to, but there are lots of ways to have a voice, and I see that you found yours.
Well, this is what I talk about this in the book, actually. I think when I did radio and broadcasting, when I lived in LA, I did all that stuff. I used my communication skills to sort of find happiness and feed my ego. I was using my talent, or some would say lack of, but I was using I'm going to say it. I was using my talent, God damn it, to gain something. And now I'm able to.
Have you done it? And how does what you teach help that stuff?
That's actually a really good question. What sort of, I said I was sort of not feeling radio anymore. What happened was I was really sick. Eventually was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Was feeling like crap physically. I was exhausted. I was achy, but mentally, which was the more excruciating part, I was having constant panic attacks. I was so depressed. And I knew it wasn't situational. I knew there was something physical going on. And I was in LA. I started going to the best endocrinologist in LA. They finally diagnosed me and they said, well, you know what? You're not sick enough to treat yet. And I was like, I'm going to hurl myself out a window. What do you mean? Well, your numbers aren't bad enough to treat.
What numbers?
My blood test numbers were not, they're just very, Western medicine is very by the book. And it's like, oh, we will treat you with big pharmaceuticals once you reach the level of 10. And you're only at the level of 3. So, maybe in 2 years we can start giving you medication, which won't solve the problem, but it'll put a Band-Aid on it. And I said, no, this is not working for me. I found a functional doctor and I started learning about the mind-body connection. And I realized I had made myself sick. The stress, the hours, the food and chemicals I was putting in my body. You mentioned mold. I was living in a mold-filled apartment in LA with no sun for like 10 years. So I realized if I can make myself sick, I bet I can make myself unsick. And that I just got my numbers today, by the way. I am no longer hypothyroid, and I'm not on any medication, by the way. I started off on medication. I'm not on any medication right now. Yeah. And my antibodies, which are the marker for autoimmune disease, are the lowest they've been in 2 years.
Well, how did you get better? Just by not having a toxic lifestyle?
It is, and a toxic lifestyle has so many components to it.
So that affected your thyroid?
Yeah.
Wow.
It can affect arthritis, and it can affect all of these things come into, functional doctors treat the body and as a whole, which involves your mind, your body, and your spirit. If you're stressed out, your stress hormones go on overdrive. So I was in fight or flight for 2 years. Then my body just started naturally making those hormones, which some of them are, produced by the thyroid. It's all connected. Now I talk about this in the book. I have a sleep routine. I exercise. I meditate. I eat better, although I still eat pretty not great, but a lot better than I was eating. And yeah, you can make yourself well. The mind-body connection is like this huge thing. I just want to suggest a book for you. There's a guy named Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he was one of the first authors that I read about this. There's another one also named Dr. Sarno, who was a back doctor. And he talks about how 90% of back problems in the US are caused by stress.
Yeah. I have like zero stress. I eat well. I could do a little more exercise.
Well,
I
you
guess.
walk a lot. I mean, you've really turned it around too, I think. I
Oh.
remember during the pandemic, you were stressed out a little bit. It was a
Oh,
stressful
right.
time,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Right.
And you definitely turned it around.
I do walk, but that's not super aerobic. Like my heart rate doesn't get up, but at least I'm out there.
And the vitamin D. Plus, look around you. You built yourself a speakeasy, man. I mean, that's a good
I know.
workout.
This took me a long time to cobble
I
together.
bet.
It's
And
all found
you had that since you were
materials.
20. Yeah.
It took a team of construction people to do. I know you don't want to go too long, so
Yeah.
this seems like a perfect length. Can you show us your book again to get people
Sure,
started?
I just happen to have it.
Okay, yeah. Mindfulness for people who suck at being mindful. And there's a picture of you there.
And it's 6 practical shifts for making mindful choices, reclaiming your power, and creating a more fulfilling
And
life.
it's super affordable if you get it online, if I remember correctly.
It's 99 cents for the
See?
ebook, and it's under $5 for the
You can get 3 of them for a cup of coffee, for the price of a cup of coffee, which seems to be the standard amount of money. All right. Thank you very much, Chachi. Thanks for being with us on this. And while I have you, Chachi, Shake the Faith. Yes, the interview. Let me know when that's going to happen. And Melissa, thank you so much, and continued success to you.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Bye, all.
Bye. Subscribe to the blog on MaximizeLife.com, on YouTube, a Maximized Life, on Instagram, a.maximized.life, and on Twitter at DJ Melissa Maxx.